Starflip and Bubblebliss, Episode 2, The Moonbeam Hiccups. A silvery dawn spread across ultimate fairyland. The sky, still sleepy, wore shades of lavender and mint. Starflip stretched her long silver wings outside the cottage window, blinking at the soft mist rising from the gumdrop pond. Bubblebliss, wrapped in a quilt made of sparkles, peeked from her hammock and yawned. "Did you hear anything last night?" Starflip asked, adjusting her squeaky hat. "I could have sworn I heard tiny footsteps." Bubblebliss rubbed her eyes. "I dreamed about dancing marshmallows, but that might have been real. Maybe the keeper of Chuckles came for the feather." They stepped outside, careful not to crush the glowing footprints left in the grass. They wound toward the candy cane trees, still glowing faintly even in daylight. Starflip crouched, inspecting a print through her squeaky telescope. "Look at this," she said. "The edges sparkle, like moonlight trapped inside." Bubblebliss tilted her head. "So whoever left these tracks must be linked to the next clue." Starflip clapped her hands. "Let's follow. But first, snacks." She darted back, grabbed the satchel of sugar biscuits, and zoomed out again. The footprints' path. The glowing prints led them past a row of caramel mushrooms, across the rainbow bridge, and into the crystal woods. Light broke through jewel-like leaves, scattering tiny rainbows on the path. A breeze whispered through branches, carrying the scent of candy floss. Bubblebliss paused. "Look," she said, pointing at a sparkling feather caught on a twig. It wasn't silver like their treasure, it shimmered blue-green. Starflip tucked it carefully into her satchel. "Evidence. Whoever we're chasing is stylish." They moved deeper until the trees opened into a clearing. There stood a curious contraption, a tall wooden frame holding a silver bell. Beside it hung a sign written in swirly handwriting. "Ring once if you like riddles. Ring twice if you prefer jokes. Ring thrice if you have hiccups." Bubblebliss giggled. "Hiccups? Really?" Starflip shrugged. "I like all three." She rang the bell thrice. Instantly, the bell spun, showering them with glitter. A scroll dropped at their feet, the second scroll. Starflip unrolled it. "Moonbeams bounce where giggles gleam. Seek the glimmering grotto by the jelly stream. Beware the hiccup sprites. They sneeze bubbles if you make them laugh." Bubblebliss grinned. A grotto, jelly stream, and bubble sneezing sprites? This day just improved. They headed toward the sound of trickling water. Soon they reached a stream that looked like liquid jelly, its surface rippling in pink and gold. A sign carved in marshmallow wood. Read, "Cross only with giggles." "Simple," Starflip said. She attempted to tiptoe across a line of smooth stones, humming a silly tune. Bubblebliss followed, but halfway she snorted with laughter, causing the stone beneath to bounce like a trampoline. Both fairies tumbled into the jelly with a satisfying plop. Covered in sticky sweetness, they climbed out laughing. Starflip shook her wings, flinging droplets that turned into tiny glitter frogs. "At least we're fashionable," she said. He hiccup sprites. Beyond the stream lay a shady glen dotted with moonflowers. Suddenly a group of tiny creatures popped out, round, glowing beings with tiny wings and wide eyes. They hiccuped softly, releasing iridescent bubbles. One sprite zipped forward, hiccuping nervously. "Travelers, are you gigglers or gloomies?" "Gigglers," Starflip and Bubblebliss chorused. The sprite clapped tiny hands, accidentally burping a bubble that floated and popped on Starflip's nose. She burst out laughing. The sprites cheered. Their leader bowed. "We guard the way to the glimmering grotto, but you must win our challenge." "What challenge?" Bubblebliss asked. "Make us laugh until we hiccup 3 rainbow bubbles," said the leader, fluttering. Starflip puffed up dramatically. "I was born for this." She began an exaggerated dance, balancing a biscuit on her head while reciting tongue twisters about tap dancing turtles. Bubblebliss added a series of silly faces, crossing her eyes and pretending to trip over imaginary rocks. Soon the sprites hiccuped so hard rainbow bubbles streamed into the air. With a final squeaky laugh, they pointed toward a mossy tunnel, the glimmering grotto. The tunnel walls gleamed like polished moonstone, leading them into a cavern where moonbeams bounced between crystal pillars. Pools of glowing water reflected stars even though it was daytime. In the center stood a pedestal holding a lidded shell. Starflip approached cautiously. Last time there was a bubble tower and jelly swamp. What's the trick here? A whisper echoed. Sing to open. Bubblebliss cleared her throat and sang a gentle melody about giggling feathers and dancing marshmallows. The shell quivered but didn't open. Starflip added her own song, a clumsy rhyme about hiccuping moons. The shell cracked open, revealing a second silver feather wrapped in parchment. She read aloud. Feather 2 is yours, clever friends. But beware, a sneaky tale follows. Seek the twinkle tree next, where laughter bends the shadows. Bubblebliss tucked the feather into a bubble pouch. What sneaky tale? Before Starflip could answer, a faint rustle echoed. At the edge of the cavern, something darted behind a crystal column, a flicker of gold fur and mischievous eyes. The chase. Starflip grabbed her telescope. There, a sneaky fox? Rabbit? Fox rabbit? Rabbit? Fox rabbit? The creature peeked out. A golden fox with floppy bunny ears. It grinned and bolted. Starflip shot after it, Bubblebliss close behind. They chased through twisting passages until the fox rabbit leapt out into sunlight. They found themselves in a meadow dotted with glowing clovers. The fox rabbit danced teasingly, then flicked its tail and vanished, leaving a tiny bell behind. Bubblebliss picked it up. Maybe a clue? Starflip examined it. Or bait. She tucked it away as the breeze shifted, carrying distant laughter. Evening return. By the time they returned to their cottage, the sky blushed with sunset. They laid the new feather beside the first on a shelf. 2 pieces now gleamed side by side, promising more mysteries. Bubblebliss flopped into her hammock. 2 feathers, a fox rabbit, and jelly hiccups. My wings need a holiday. Starflip perched on a stool, polishing her squeaky hat. No holidays until the treasure's found. Outside, shadows lengthened across the gumdrop pond. The candy cane trees swayed gently. Hidden among them, the golden fox rabbit watched with amused eyes. It twitched its ears and whispered into the twilight. Let's see if they're ready for the twinkle tree. The breeze carried a faint giggle, and the footprints that had once glowed by their door reappeared, stretching toward the darkening forest.